Hello. Welcome to a very special episode of Word Up Podcast. We're going international today.
Oh, wow.
I have Sinthuja with me. Do you go by your surname, Sinthuja, as well?
Yes.
What? So tell me.
Oh, you mean my last name?
Yes.
It's very long.
Go. I love a long last name.
Do you want the whole name? Okay. Sinthuja Venayagamurthy Kumarasamy. It's 33 letters.
Venayagamurthy Kumarasamy.
That's really impressive.
Wow.
You
Did I
really
get
nailed
it?
that. Yeah, you got that.
Yes.
And
So that's why you just go with Sinthuja V.
VK.
VK.
Yeah, it's very long. And I have a joke about it where I'm like, such a long name, but it's magical because if my dad says it, he thinks if he says it 3 times, I'll turn into a doctor or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah,
So.
you ain't a doctor.
No.
Yeah, I'm not. What is it? I'm not a gynecologist, but I know a cunt when I see one. Here, you know the way. So Sinthuja is from Canada. Well,
Yes.
Canada, and then, well, you told me actually where you were originally from.
Yes, my parents are from the north part of Sri Lanka, so we're Tamil.
Exotic.
It's just a beautiful island.
That is very exotic.
But born and raised in Canada.
Yes.
But I live in Sweden.
She lives in Sweden.
Yes, in Sweden.
Isn't it weird?
That's a very
Yeah,
German.
it's so exotic, and I love this because Sinthuja living in Sweden is going out with
I'm going out with a man from Tyrone.
a wee Irishman.
And he's very wee. No, he's not that
He's
wee.
wee.
He's not going to like that I said that.
No, you
He's not
can't
gonna-
tell him he's wee.
No, he's not going to
He'll
like
fucking
that.
he'll take, the jaundice. He'll think you're talking about his
No.
penis. Oh, no, he's down.
He's a handsome man.
No, he's from Tyrone. It's like, oof, yeah.
Yeah, he has that accent that sometimes it comes out. I don't know if he's saying something like romantic or if it's like a death threat. It's very,
Very good.
you know.
I fucking love you. So do. I'm never going to leave you.
Eyes locked, never gonna leave you. So.
Never going to leave you.
Yeah, your story is like very international.
Yeah.
United Nations of a like story.
The thing that I find hardest to believe out of that story is that a man from Tyrone actually lives in Sweden. That he left Tyrone. Like, what does he do without his ma's Sunday dinners?
He really misses Ireland, though. He does. So, yeah, he had a life before me, and then he ended up in Sweden, and then and then we met.
But his life was shit before you, babe.
Oh my God! I hope he doesn't hear this.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Yeah, I'm the
Dermot.
best. No. Dermot is
Dermot. You leveled up. Oh my God. Didn't you? When you met Sinthuja.
Can I tell you something? We live in Sweden, and people they're very lovely, but as you say in Ireland, they don't have much crack. Like, they're not very... And so I just get here, and everybody's just in your face funny, and I'm loving it.
Right, okay.
And everybody's just honest, and I could just go to a bar, and people just want to talk and chat, so this is hilarious. Like,
oh, babe,
yeah,
bless you.
so for the podcast, I'll say for the sake of the podcast, yes, he leveled up.
Yeah,
Yes.
he totally leveled up.
But
yeah.
so...
We don't do... we like to think that we're humble, but I think that's why we crack so many jokes, because we're trying to brag, but it's really like, what are you joking? Fucking class I am. Joking. Do you know what I mean? Without looking like you're full of it, you're like, yeah, fucking left a car by myself. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, is it a wee bit much? Is it like burnout?
No, I really love it. Like, this is the second time I've been in Ireland. The first time was like 6 years ago. I was on my own, just in Dublin. And I think you guys I made some jokes about this that maybe, yeah, I'm going to probably say them at the Empire, but like...
It's okay, this doesn't go out to Saturday, so fuck them.
Oh, say the jokes?
You don't have to say them, no, but...
No, but just like the people I meet, like, or the experiences that I have. Like, I was in Dublin and like, it was just Friday and I was going over to the crack den and there's 2 guys shirtless fighting on a street. And everybody's around them and they're drunk.
Yeah.
But they're not hitting each other. They're just kind of just like,
come out, see if you're not...
I know.
I just might fucking,
And it's like, one of the guys is yelling from the street, come on now, that's enough. And the other guy's like, oh, but it's culture day. Fair play.
Oh, this was culture night, right enough.
Culture day.
You can't have culture night in Dublin without a bare knuckle fucking gypsy boxing fight.
You were doing some protesting in regards to culture night yourself.
protest. I was indeed.
Oh, you don't like Culture Day?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
We do. But the thing is, it's a bit contentious up here because they done away with our culture night.
Okay.
So we are like the only city in Ireland that didn't get one, aren't we?
Yeah, major city.
Major city. Well,
Well,
we
what is
are.
it-
We're the fucking capital city in the north, and we didn't get a culture night.
But what is it? What do you usually do? Like,
So essentially, this it shall be an educational thing.
okay.
I'm showing my age now. The very, very first culture night that ever occurred, I was part of.
Ooh.
I volunteered for. I think I was just a freshly minted graduate wanting to change the word.
What year was that?
It would have been like 2009, 2009, 2010 at the latest. So I worked it, and I had my wee blue culture night T-shirt. Somebody gave me a fucking walkie-talkie. It was fantastic. And it was basically lots and lots of artists, freelance artists,
Yeah.
hired to, like, there were street performers.
Okay.
There were Tales by Torchlight underneath the Merchant Hotel for kids to go along to. There was like Shakespeare for babies. There was
Aw.
lots of really
Yeah.
cool stuff. And because nobody knew what Culture Night actually was, because they hadn't really heard of it before,
Yeah.
part of what I was doing, what I was assigned to do,
Mm-hmm.
was to convince people to come and take part.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very much, come on, watch this outdoor circus. Come on, let's go to the blah, 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 and directing people. And so it was beautiful, and it was a great night, and it went off really well. And some people were a wee bit intrepid about taking part, but they did. And the word spread. And then
Like it grew and grew, and like a couple of years ago,
snowballed.
it was like
Mm.
crazy big. So it's like, every venue in
Yeah.
the city like has like multiple events on. Every like street corner and every public space is getting used with like a big stage on it.
nice.
Or
It was fantastic.
Like, so it's class. The city's so
In-
vibrant.
But it did become a drinking fest, which is what it is
can
everywhere else
imagine.
anyway. But, I mean, why can't people enjoy themselves and have a wee drink while they're walking about? The thing that I thought with Culture Night, though, was that it sold out a bit. I was walking, the last Culture Night that I attended, I was walking down, and there was this big, massive, like, I don't know if it was a Bugatti or a Ferrari or didn't know what kind of, but a supercar.
Okay.
And it was like parked, just so, and there was a big display up, and it was all about, and I was like, what the fuck has that got to do with Culture Night, Majority of us are never going to be able to afford that.
No.
So I suppose there was big brands brought into it. I don't know why they done away with it, but
Yeah.
Willie, the legend himself, he's a guy who
Yeah.
owns like a chain of pubs in Belfast. He owned the Heart Bar, and he owned the Duke of York.
Mhm.
He staged a bit of a protest, and he was like, fuck it, I'll do my own Culture Night then. We'll still do Culture Night.
Okay.
So they got it was really cool. I did a bit of comedy. There was music
Nice.
on Friday night. The audience was fab
Mm-hmm.
because they were just, I thought, I'm going to go in here and they're going to be like, what the fuck? Why is there a comedian on? We're trying to have a drink. But they were really up for it. And
Yeah.
they loved it. And they did this thing where there was like, like in the South, the way they have those funerals where they like
Funerals?
where they sort of like dance and play jazz.
At the funeral.
Yeah, with,
Well, I
with
haven't
a
been to a
coffin.
funeral in the South.
So, I mean in the South of America.
Oh, in the South of
Like
America.
down
Okay,
in down in like New Orleans and stuff
Oh,
like
I
that.
see. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they did that. They
Mm.
marched like a coffin through the streets with like this jazz, like
Okay.
death
What-
of
what-
Culture Night.
Really? Oh,
Mhm.
wow. That's
So it was
brave.
just, I just thought fair play to Willie,
Yeah.
round of
Okay. Yeah.
applause.
Yeah. I don't know him, but
because he just went, right, I'm doing it, and he's like paying us all for coming and doing,
okay.
giving the local artists a bit of work, and also giving the finger to Culture Night and being like, fuck yes, we'll do it ourselves anyway.
Okay. Well,
And
I've learned a lot here.
Oh, sorry. But so Sinthuja. Word Up is essentially
Okay.
we're just having a yarn.
Okay.
Like relax. But
I like this one.
do you like our background?
Yeah,
So
I do.
what we do is anybody who it's their first time on
Yeah.
signs. So we've had the Black Paddy, we've had like a load of really interesting, cool people.
Nice.
And you're gonna sign that. There's two dicks right
I
here.
just saw that.
Luke McGibbon decided that it needed a cock, but
Yeah.
we were talking about people with two dicks. So we did a 2-day.
Okay,
on the walk.
perfect.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you about a word.
Okay.
Right? So this is the word of the week. Right? You can try and pronounce it.
Apophenia.
So close, yes. The word is apophenia.
Apophenia. Okay. I don't know
So
what that means.
yeah, it's just I hear like obscure words sometimes, and I enjoy
Yeah.
going, oh, what does that mean? Or you read it. So apophenia
Okay.
is actually this might be interesting to you because Sinthuja reads tarot. Right?
So do.
You're a very spiritual person.
I'm very spiritual.
But apophenia is a tendency to find patterns where there are none.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So people with apophenia tend to think really laterally as well.
Okay.
Like I would be quite a lateral thinker actually, and I would probably connect the dots. If you see anything that we do on this podcast, half the time each conversation links to something completely unrelated.
Okay.
By 6 degrees of separation. But there's, for example, there's also pareidolia, which is the tendency to find patterns in a visual formation that aren't actually there. Like
visual information.
Visual. So
Okay.
the way we see faces and things.
Yeah.
The way because obviously the human brain is designed to
Okay.
try and visually recognize things or identify. Sometimes you'll see like the bark on a tree and it'll look like a screaming face. Or is that just me?
No, I've seen that
do you
too.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen
So
that.
it's kind of like that. Only like this is like finding patterns where there aren't
Where
any.
there aren't any. Okay.
Or like an image of Our Lady, like
in the toast.
in the toast.
Oh yeah.
Jesus in the toast. The way Irish people loved it. Well, everybody over the world loves to find Jesus and stuff, don't they?
Wasn't that on an episode of Father Ted? It
was.
I watched Father Ted, by the way.
and
I really liked it.
The image of Bishop Brennan and the skirting board.
No,
Then he has to kick him up the arse.
so we can kick him up the arse.
Yeah.
Jesus in the skirting board, isn't it?
No, it was
Bishop
they said
Brennan?
It was Bishop Brennan's.
Oh, so
face,
he
innit?
thought he was going to be like canonized. Tell me this. You watched Father Ted.
I did. It was because my man said it. He's like, you need to watch Father Ted.
So what did a Canadian Sri Lankan girl make of Father Ted?
I found it hilarious.
Yeah.
And Dougal was my favorite, I think.
yeah.
But also the priest who just drank and
Father Jack.
yeah, I liked him.
Dougal kills me.
One of my favorite though is like remember when the maid, what's her name? The
Mrs.
nanny.
Doyle.
Mrs. Doyle.
Mrs. Doyle had a crush on the guy that
Oh, Pop Mustard.
Pat Mustard.
Pat Mustard's in the
do
phone
the
book.
line. Do the line.
You're like, I hear a wank myself or something.
Yeah. Pat Mustard wants to put his big tool in my box.
I
Father.
love it. I love it.
Yes.
That was
Yes,
my
it doesn't
favorite
fit in the
episode.
milk plug.
Those are very hairy babies, Ted. Very. My, you said the nanny, which is so funny because it is almost like a wee. Do I think the thing that resonated with people as well is that setup was quite common. Like in parochial houses, you would have like the long established priest. You'd have the priest that was fucking useless because he was either too old or, in Father Jack's case, drunk out.
Yeah.
And then you would have like the freshly minted priest.
Yeah.
Like the wee neophyte sort of. And we house it's the many instances I have heard of priests who are allegedly in relationships with their mate. Like
I wouldn't put it past them.
with their Mrs. Doyles. Wouldn't blame them either. I'm sure God wouldn't even blame them.
No,
Get your oats. But there's a saying,
I like how you said that. Get your oats.
get your oats. Do you use
No, we
that
don't
phrase?
say that at
No?
all. I'm getting all kinds of phrases. Like you had said, like send the letter down, get your oats. It's like a whole new language.
Yeah, we use a lot of like colloquialisms
Yeah.
and also like weird metaphors that we assume everybody gets. I get this with my husband too.
Yeah.
Like he'll go, no, like his favourite one. I actually got him it on a
Because he's
t-shirt.
London born and raised.
He's London born and
yeah,
raised.
yeah,
God
yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
But he loves the phrase "keep her lit"
Keep her lit.
that we say over here. So,
Okay.
like, you'll be walking past someone or you'll be driving down the road and you'll go, "All right, Sean, and keep her lit," and
It's basically like, yes, I wish you well, but I don't have time to talk to you.
yes.
Oh my God, I would never have got that from that phrase.
Yeah, but it derives from, I think, now this is my only conjecture,
Yeah.
but keep her lit meaning like, so like a fire in your house or a boiler, like everybody's houses had fires in them. Do you remember? Because that was the way to keep the heating on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
keep her lit, like keep it going, keep doing what you're doing, keep the fire lit. And that's the way that I think about it. Like,
Aye. Keep working hard so
Yeah.
you can keep the fire lit.
yeah, keep her lit, you know.
wow.
So he loves that, and I was like, "That's just because you're an electrician. You hang lights all the time." And he was like,
Yeah.
"No." So I got him a wee Christmas jumper that has like all these wee light
Aw.
bulbs on it, and it says "Keep her lit," you know.
That's so cute.
He loves it, but there tends to be, it's like a whole other language, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's a whole a whole way of also interacting with people. Like I'll tell you something that happened this morning. But this is an example. Like I'm Canadian, so I'm very like I think I'm like Irish people. Like we're very like we just want to talk. And
Yeah.
so I was in the hotel and I was downstairs and a guy, he's kind of big and burly and he's bald and he has tattoos everywhere. And we were talking about the black cab tours. And an American guy is like, "Yeah, I paid $70 for that." And then the Scottish guy, he's like, "Oh, that's out of my budget. I can't do it." And then,
Very good.
Yeah, I know my partner thinks my accent's very offensive when I try. And then
No, I love
I
it.
said, yeah, it's a bit expensive. And I said, "Are you gonna do it the tour anyways?" He's like, he's got a motorcycle, right?
Oh.
And he's gonna go around. And so then I said, "Oh, that's really cool. So like, what do you know about the Troubles? Do you know anyone in it, or were you a part of it?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Even if I was, I wouldn't be telling you now, would I?" And he walked away. I was like,
You were like, "That's a no. He's
a
a
no.
shite bag."
and I told my partner, he's like, "You can't be walking around asking people if they're part of the Troubles." And I was like,
I fucking love that.
I was just trying to have a conversation and just be
Oh my God, Sinthuja, we need to introduce you to Jerry Adams.
nice. Okay.
And you're going to go, "So what about the Troubles, Jerry? Were you part of it or anything?" And he's going to go, "I've never been in the IRA. Now, you know, I can neither confirm nor deny that Sinthuja full on asked some Scottish guy. Is he Scottish too?"
He said he was from Scotland, so that's why I asked him the question, like, "Well, did you have family involved, or were you
Yeah.
involved? Like, why is this Scottish guy?"
Do you know the main thing about it is that I can say with reasonable certainty, that guy's probably a Scottish Rangers supporter over
What's
here.
that?
Over here to visit some mates, maybe in Shankill. So if he did have anything to do with the
Yeah.
Troubles, he wouldn't be able to talk. He genuinely wouldn't, because he'd be over fucking helping out his wee mates, the Red Hand
So-
of Ulster.
Wait,
You're
wait.
saying
Oh, are you
what's
talking
that?
about there with the Ulster group then?
Yeah,
Oh, that's fine.
yeah.
I don't know if I
So
can say this on the podcast.
a
You
weird
can
thing.
say
So you're
anything.
saying like, what's that? So which is, by the way, we got croissants. There was an
Even the
event
Irish
on
way
there.
is like croissant.
Croissants.
It's very cute.
Who gave us them croissants?
There was an event downstairs and I left a load of leftovers in the kitchen. So if you just want a croissant,
Fuck me sideways and bury me pregnant. You never asked me. Did I want a croissant?
you can have one if you just want. Of course, got
you
got
like
free
a
for the free.
Not right now. It's
Not
fine.
right now.
It's fine.
But so sorry, you
But-
said you don't know if
Oh,
you
aye.
can tell this. Sorry, you
Oh,
were.
sorry.
What were you guys?
Well, so you were saying about the Rangers thing. So what's that? So
He's probably over to break a few windows. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Is all I'm saying.
But when you say Rangers, you mean like the pro-British? Or like...
so
Yeah.
Rangers
Okay.
is
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what
Rangers is a football team
Okay.
in Glasgow in Scotland.
Okay.
So they have a rivalry with the other team in Glasgow called Celtic.
Which is
Okay.
Right.
predominantly Catholic.
So
Okay.
there's like a Catholic team in Glasgow and a Protestant team in Glasgow,
Yeah.
and 90% of football fans in Ireland
Okay.
who have no relation, like the Scotland,
Nothing whatsoever.
either support one of those two teams
Okay.
because one is Catholic and one is Protestant.
Wow.
Unless you're me, I
So
don't give a fuck about football.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
so
yeah.
like a main part of those two teams'
Mm.
identity in Glasgow is to do with like politics in Ireland.
Yes, and like
mad.
sectarianism.
It's
Yeah.
quite
So-
mad.
It's
Yeah.
weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like to the point where like so the Catholic team Celtic,
Mm-hmm.
their main colours are green and white, like green,
Yeah,
white, and the Irish flag. And
I'm not saying that all of those fans, because some fans just genuinely love the team.
Oh,
They're
yeah, yeah.
born
Yeah,
and
yeah.
reared, loving it.
Interesting.
You know, little
but
kids.
the other team Rangers, their colours are like red, white, and blue. So
Yeah.
like the British flag.
Okay.
Mhm.
This is all,
It's all news.
I mean, I'm Canadian Sri Lankan, so in both ways I've been colonized by the British Empire.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I am very.
You're a Celtic
I'm
fan,
not
is what you're
very
saying.
pro-English.
You're a Celtic fan, yeah. We need to get her a signed Celtic rig. Go on, hoops. Say it for the. Go on, hoops.
Go on, hoops.
Go on, hoops. Yeah.
Well, we'll throw some more like Belfast phrases. That's
This
in
would be-
Sinthuja.
Yeah, let's do
Yes,
it. Please.
let's
and
do
see if you
it.
can
See if
guess,
you can
what,
guess
it
what it
means.
means.
Okay, guess
So-
what it means. Oh, that's good.
So the first one is, do you think I came up the lagging in a bubble?
Oh my god. Do you think I came up the lagging?
So if I was to say to you,
Yeah.
do you think I come up a lagging in a bubble? The lagging's the river.
Oh, okay. Lagging's a river. Didn't know that. In a bubble.
What do you think I'm implying to you?
Did you think that it was easy for me?
Do you think? What
Close.
about if I said, do you think I come up a lagging in a dugout canoe? Because that's even more fucking confusing when you're a kid.
Dugout canoe.
Basically, like, do you think I was born yesterday?
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you,
Okay.
do you think? What about how's she cutting?
How's she doing?
Yeah, like how are you doing? It means like
But I like how you put the she.
yeah.
How's she cutting?
Farmers say it like
Yeah.
cultures would say it
Yeah.
because how's she cutting meaning that. Do you know there's actually a response to that, Sean?
No, never heard
you
a
not know?
response. No.
So how's she cutting meaning like
Yeah.
how's your harvester working?
Oh, it's about the machine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So
It's more of like
The
a
answer is
country. sort
follow
of
the
thing.
blade. Follow the blade. And if you're being cheeky, you
Yeah.
go follow the blade and 2 fingers more.
and 2 fingers more.
Yeah, like 2 fingers to you. Like
Okay.
follow the blade. There you go.
Wow.
How's she cutting? Go on, gives another one.
Wind your neck in.
When's your
Wind.
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 Like winding.
winding?
Yeah, so like wind your neck in.
If I was to say to you, wind your neck in.
My neck in this.
Yes. Wind your
Yeah.
neck in.
Hold my tongue?
Yeah,
Sort of,
you're
yeah.
close. Yeah, yeah.
Or, watch myself? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, like watch it.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
watch what you're saying. sort
Watch
of
what
thing.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wind your neck.
Wind your neck in. Because some people stick their neck in a wee bit as well. Don't they? And maybe it's because like
Wind your neck. Yeah,
Wind
mind
your-
your business.
wind your neck in.
Oh,
meaning, like,
Yeah.
yeah. Mind
I-
your business. Get your fucking
I
yeah.
love this.
Get your nose out. You know.
Yeah.
Wind your neck in. Some
I
people.
feel like I'm on Dairy Girls.
Yeah,
I love
basically.
Dairy Girls, by the way.
Yeah.
I loved it. God.
Sucking diesel.
Oh, I ran out of weed, so now I'm
your
looking
partner must.
I
Very
ran out
good.
of weed. Like, there has to be another way.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
I'll do anything. You mean Big Vin Diesel in Hollywood? Sucking
yeah, there we
diesel.
go.
A few people have done that, I believe. He's
Wait,
in
so,
our ones coming
so
up.
what is it? Sucking diesel?
Sucking
So
diesel.
we'll go
What-
now you're sucking diesel.
Like you're being gullible, or
No, like now you're cooking with gas. Now you're sucking diesel. I think it comes from people siphoning diesel out of people's tanks. So
Yeah. Oh,
By the time you
I'm
get
trying
it-
to shortchange you.
this-
No, I'm trying to. Rip
It's
you
like
off.
no, like it's
You're
like
doing
if you
well.
were in like a tough spot,
Yeah.
and then you're sort of getting over the crest of the wave, and you're like coming out the other side, and
Yeah.
everything's going good again.
Now
It's
you're
like
sucking
now we're
diesel.
sucking diesel,
yeah,
so everything's good again.
Yeah.
I love how it's like we got over this, and now the most positive thing today is now you're sucking diesel.
you're drinking fuel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rocket.
Where was the other one I had again there? Let me see. Can you think of any more, Bruna? Here's one. Scundered or pure scundered.
Pure scundered. I don't know what scundered means.
Scundered is it actually is a bit of a shibboleth for
A
here
shibboleth.
because scundered down here in Belfast means like embarrassed. Like,
Okay.
oh my god, I am so scundered.
Yeah.
But if you're watching Dairy Girls and you
Yeah.
hear them saying scunnered,
Yeah.
it means upset, annoyed.
Okay.
So they're like, I'm scunnered, I'm wild scunnered.
Oh.
You know? Another one would be like, before you said scundered there, I was thinking of like little things that we would just sort of say, and one did come to mind, but it'll probably come back again. I suppose it's just this is what I'm a wee bit worried about as well, like doing gigs in England,
Yeah.
because we say a lot of things that we would assume that you know what we mean.
Like what?
Like even just didn't bother me arse.
Didn't bother me ours.
Aye.
But that just means you didn't care.
Didn't care, couldn't be annoyed. No,
That's pretty common though.
like didn't bother me arse. But you know, whenever like Kurt will point things out to me and go, see the way we say "so I do" as well.
So I do. Oh yeah.
Or so it is.
So it is.
Oh, so it
like
is.
we like bookend things. So I'll go like, I went there, so I did.
So yeah, my partner says that.
Why do I do like? And I wouldn't do it as much, but Kurt does it ironically.
Yeah.
So he'll like do our accent and he'll go, fucking class, so it is.
Yeah, I like that.
And whenever he does that, I just laugh my tits off and he goes, it's because you realise how ridiculous it sounds whenever someone else is
British
saying
people
it.
sound ridiculous. Like they sound like
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Last one is "That's us now."
Say it again.
That's us now.
That's us now.
That's us now.
Don't
That's
know.
us now. Just again, sort of like sucking diesel. Like there we go. That's us now.
Yeah.
Is that in Irish though?
No, that. So it's basically
just-
that's us now.
Oh, oh my god!
That's
But you said
us
it
now.
like
Yeah.
See,
velvety smooth.
See if you're in the airport, I think they actually have it at us now in the airport whenever you're in the lounge.
Yeah.
And then whenever you're heading out to the plane, it'll say, "That's us away." It's it, doesn't it? Is it up in
Yeah,
international or is it
I
in
think it's
city?
international.
Go, "That's us now."
Yeah.
That's us away.
In the beginning, my partner, he'd say, after everything he'd say, he'd be "in fairness." Right? But what I heard was "in furnace," like the furnace.
Yes!
So I didn't correct it for a long time. So I thought, oh shit, everything's going bad. Like, bad. So why do you say furnace? He's like, I'm saying "in fairness." And I'm like, oh my God.
Brilliant. There's a girl in our school always said "in furnace," and I think like that. Like, I see a furnace when she says that.
Yeah.
Or sometimes whenever people say emotional blackmail,
Yeah.
I see like a black man crying. Do you know what I mean? Like an emotional blackmail. You know?
Another one is "God spares us."
God spares us.
Yeah. So see if you talk about any future plans,
Yeah.
you have to say "God spares us."
You can't be
after it.
labouring under the presumption that you're actually going to fucking make it, Sinthuja.
So if you're saying
that's a bit,
sure, well,
that's
I'll
a
meet
bit,
you next week for coffee. God
God
spares us.
spares us.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like how realistic it is here. I think my partner's getting out of control because he's all about manifestations and being positive, and I'm like, I don't think that sounds very Irish,
Yeah, it's not.
You guys are day to day sort of.
When you're talking about manifestations in Ireland, it means you've lit a candle at the novena and you therefore expect your prayer to be answered. Do you know what I mean? It's not putting shit out there into the universe. It's praying to St. Anthony and promising him the price of a loaf if you find whatever you're looking for. Do you know what I
very
mean?
funny.
So I suppose in a way the Irish have always had magic. I still do this. In fact, my son called me out the other day. I was looking
Yeah.
I had lost an earring or something. I'm trying to find it. And in my head, I'm repeating over and over again, Jesus was lost, Jesus was found, Jesus was lost, Jesus was found, right?
That's hilarious.
Because you know the way Jesus was lost in the temple and he was found? So I have this thing where I'm like, Jesus was lost, Jesus. Or I'll say,
Yeah.
I promise because St. Anthony is the patron saint of like lost things.
Yeah.
So if you go...
How do you get that? It's like a fucking.
It's just
It's
a
a
ear-
weird duty to have.
No, like there's fucking weird patron saints as well for weird things.
You go up to heaven and like St. Anthony sitting there on the lost and found, going "fuck's sake."
Why am I stuck trying to find Princess Diana's fucking coat? Do you know what I mean? When I should be down there like saving the animals or something,
Yeah.
But our Kai went to me.
Yeah.
I bet your mummy's running about up there. Bet you're going, Jesus was lost, Jesus was found.
Oh,
and I
that's
was
hilarious.
like, fuck up, because I found it. Found it, didn't I? And you do, if you promise St. Anthony,
Yeah.
the price of a loaf, if you found stuff, you're meant to put however much it is for
Yeah.
a loaf, which at the minute is roughly like fucking 1,700 million pounds. You're meant to put it in a wee St. Anthony collection box. So I owe St. Anthony a fucking fortune.
Oh my gosh. So just a quick question. Like when I was in Dublin, I was on this tour guide. It was so much
Ooh,
fun.
Did you do a tour?
I did a tour. I went outside of Dublin to Glendalough and the Wilco Mountains. I forgot the name. And Kilkenny. Wicklow Mountains.
Yeah.
In Kilkenny.
I like Wilco though.
Yeah.
That works.
Sorry. And the tour guide, like he was so full of information. And he's like,
Of course he was. Was it a man?
Yeah, it was a man.
Full of fucking shit.
And no, but he was like, I'm going to try to be very objective about this history, but everything was anti-English. And I'm like, I don't know if this is a tour guide. I joined the IRA. I'm not sure what the hell's going on.
Very good.
But that's what happened. But, you know.
He's like, I don't know what to do with this rifle and customs, but, you know, I'm going to try. But
he talked about all this, like, mystical stuff, like fairy trees and things. Do you guys do that up here?
Yeah. We were talking about this last week.
Yeah? So do you have one where you're not allowed to touch it or anything? Or
well, we have we tell kids that there's a fairy tree. There's a couple of them. There's one in Lady Dixon. There's one in Musgrave, and they put their dodos on the fairy tree.
They're what?
Oh, they're dummies. They're pacifiers.
Okay.
So when it comes time for a baby to give up their dodo, I'm basically speaking a fucking Egypt language. When a wee baby, a child, you're trying to encourage that toddler to give up their pacifier because they've outgrown it. And quite frankly, son, you're 12 and your teeth are like a plate of ribs, right?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Teeth on them like a plate of ribs.
Makes me laugh too hard. Plate of ribs. How's that? How's you suck it on your tit with a plate of ribs?
You know, but you know the wee
God.
like because supposedly it gives you an arc in your teeth that bows your teeth.
That's crazy.
So yeah, your kid could eat an apple through a letterbox.
Jeez. So you put the pacifier on this fairy tree?
So they put it on the little tree.
Yeah.
And the fairies come take it away and they give it to a little baby that needs it and give up your dodo.
Okay, but this fairy tree, it's a specific tree, right?
Yeah, it's kind of creepy actually.
Does it grow everywhere up here?
I don't know. I don't know many here, but
Yeah.
see in the west of Ireland, you would get lots of farmers that like they go out of their way to
Yeah,
like
I heard
secure
about
it.
this.
Yeah, and
You
they'll
know,
not
like-
like plant anything
No.
around it. They'll not disturb the
Because-
land around it.
And it looks freaky because I saw one in the distance and it just went like that. It just like it looked like the wind blew it to one side.
Yeah,
and,
like it's like
and it stands alone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he was doing
There-
all this mystical stuff and even more stuff like, you know, see this Celtic cross here. If you rub this 3 times, you get 1,000,000 euros or something. And I'm sitting there just rubbing that.
You're
shit
going, and
in
why
your-
are you pass this all the time and you're fucking still giving me tours? Like, you're
Full of shit.
Yeah, no, but he's pointed to. I have a video of me running around a tower because he's like, you run around this counterclockwise 3 times and you get your wish come true. I have a video about it. It's on my Instagram.
Do you genuinely think they're just fucking with tourists now?
Do you
They're
think
just
so?
making these up.
Do you really
Let's
think
go.
so? Oh,
Like
we're so
Mary's-
stupid.
Mary's gingerbread.
Mary's
What's
gingerbread.
that?
Why?
Mary's Jamaica gingerbread. I'm not even going to give the game up because it's still too funny. But essentially, there's lots of Americans coming over here thinking they're eating a wee woman's homemade gingerbread, and they are eating Jamaica ginger cake that is bought en masse from Iceland, the store.
But where are they buying it?
The person that's giving it to them is telling them his mum made it. He didn't.
Serves
Do you
them
not
right
know
for
this
being
story?
dummies.
I like to
That is
you know
fucking brilliant.
I like to join in like some of the like the localism sort of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
with like the tourists. Like see if so there's lots of like tours, like tribbles tours
Yeah.
in Belfast, you know, so we still have like the peace walls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, separating communities. And we'll have like the big graffiti walls and the murals and stuff.
Mhm.
So like if I'm driving past anywhere and
Yeah.
I see like somebody take like a tour guide taking a tour, and they've got lots of like different tourists around them, I'll always like put the window down and bump the horn twice and like wave at them as if like I know them.
Yeah, so
And
that they
drive-
can just so they can look like
Oh yeah, I'm like the a man about the town. Everybody knows me, sort of thing.
yeah.
So,
Just start like shouting out the window and all randomly. I haven't gone away, you know. But yeah,
It's 70
I love
pounds
that.
to do that. 70 pounds, yeah. I told my partner,
Oh.
like, 70 pounds. I'll take you for 70 pounds. I'll tell you.
70 quid.
He's like, I'll tell you where snitches get stitches. And I'm like, I don't think that's how the tour goes.
Kind of does, yeah.
Oh,
No.
shit.
I actually think it would be really interesting
to do it?
to do it as a Belfastard, like to do the tour.
Have you done the tour?
yes, I have, because I've like worked in places where we've had like you know, international students
Yeah.
come over and do like volunteer years with
Mhm.
us.
Yeah.
So we have like people from Canada, Germany, Denmark, the Balkans and stuff come over and like do like a wee year with us.
Yeah.
And part of it, you know, we take them around on a tour to give them a bit of history about Belfast. So I've went out and done it. And those times, you know, you're sitting there and you're going like, Nah, that's not true. That's not true.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, if you did that, would you feel
I feel like you have to do it twice. You have to do it
twice?
You have to do it once with someone from like the Falls Road, and you have to do it once with someone from the Shankill.
Wait.
Oh, yes,
the
you would need to do both sides then.
You need to-
Shankill
Yeah.
is the sort of predominantly unionist area in Belfast.
Okay.
So
it's like the
Falls Road
British
and
side.
the Shankill Road actually run parallel with each other.
Yeah.
And the Falls Road would be more nationalist community. Shankill Road is more unionist, you know.
So one's British, one's Irish.
The nationalist is obviously Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
so the
right.
Irish. So you're going to do a tour, and people are going to be talking about the Irish. So, but I think they try to be non-partisan, don't
But
they?
they're
That's
completely
very
not.
hard. How
They're
can you do
completely
that?
not.
Like,
Yeah.
do you not think that's
either like
Oh,
they're what?
You know,
Say that
we
again.
don't
they're
like
they're
the,
very
uh,
biased.
we
They-
don't like
Towards
the,
what?
their own community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I need to do this. I need to do the tour with.
And why did you have like, and then tape yourself where like it's like a live where you're correcting him?
We should do it.
I don't
Are you
think
sure
that
about
happened.
that? Fuck, you might not make it out. Jesus Christ, you end up in the wheelie bin. But where's your wheelie bin? Tell him the truth.
Do you know, this is what I wanted to say, which I don't know if I can say on the podcast.
You
but, like,
can, go on.
so I got off at the train when I came to Belfast like yesterday. So I got off at the train station, Connolly. No, not Connolly. Sorry. Anyways, the train station, and then I had to walk through Donegal Pass,
Yeah.
and I saw the Ulster murals,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
just thought like, oh, they really stick out.
Yeah.
And they got like the
Balaclavas.
yes, and the guns,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like I don't know. I felt like what a weird like they're
It's intimidating.
It's intimidating, and it's like
Mhm.
they're heroes, but I don't know. I don't agree. I don't know. I was just like, and in the area too, felt yeah, and then the British flags flying everywhere, and I was just like,
Yeah,
It's
it's
just-
quite strange actually in some way. Like as you know, I like to think that in this day and age, a lot of people, anybody who has a fucking brain in their head, doesn't really give a like. Not that they don't give a shit, but
Mm.
they're not going to be purposely biased against someone simply because of their political leanings or what side of the fucking fence they're from. But you'll find that there is, and I often find, correct me if I'm wrong, that the less education, the more likely somebody is to be a bitter bastard. Right?
yeah.
And I always found it really intimidating going through areas where there were unionist murals because I was used to growing up with murals, but they were often pictures of the hunger strikers, or it was like the famine mural in Lenadoon on the side of the house that was like, you know, Mother Nature gave us the potato blight, the English government gave us the famine, which is a political statement in and of itself, but it's kind of profound and it's antiquated. But whenever I was going through those areas, I found like that was all prepared for peace but ready for war.
That's
And,
exactly how I
and
felt,
these,
yeah.
you know, guns and balaclavas, and I find that intimidating because you're thinking to yourself, is there any need?
No,
Really?
that's what I'm saying. Like I felt that they're meant to look like heroes, but I read and I know that they weren't heroes, and it's just a very weird. And so when we went on that tour in Dublin, he was very good, and he pointed out like houses where like 3 families had perished in the famine, all sorts of stuff. Like the British robbed the Irish of so many things, even like wood. Like the forestry, like let's say after 1916 was about 2%. That's because everything was taken.
Yeah.
And you guys have only got to like 11% now.
Mhm.
So they didn't just come in and like,
Yeah.
they literally, and so it's like,
And there was plenty of food.
it was
in
plenty
Ireland.
of food.
The food
and
was abundant.
So it's like,
The Irish people just weren't allowed to eat
I
it.
know. I was Googling, I Googled when I went to Dublin, can I drink, don't get mad, can I drink Irish tap water? I just had to Google it. Okay.
Oh, bless.
And so when you Google something, where
That's
it says right under, people have also asked.
Yeah.
So it said right under, can English people drink Irish water?
Stop it.
I'm being dead serious. And I was like,
Serious?
the grief runs deep here. It's just like, it's nonstop.
It's just our tears.
It's
It's quite salty.
Some idiot had Googled that, and I was like,
Can people English? No, we have this anti-English isotope in it, something like that. So whenever it detects like the English in your DNA, it targets that specific area, and you just drop down like Litvinenko or something.
But
Absolutely, but no.
even us allowing you to keep going with that and not like correcting you with anything. There wasn't anything to correct it, but it's the fact that we're talking so much about not anti-unionist, but like as if we're talking about the unionist side of those murals and stuff a bit negatively is another form of like that bias, because me and Bronagh are both from
we're biased
from nationalist communities.
From what community? Sorry.
So nationalist community. So
Oh,
when
you're
you
from the
think of
nationalist
it,
community.
Yeah. So when you think of it, like we see Ireland as a nation, as one nation.
Yeah.
And then you'll get unionist communities who
Yeah.
see like the north of Ireland as part of the union. You
Oh,
know?
sure.
So like if there
Yeah.
was someone from a unionist community, they may here in the room, they might have been like, oh, but not all the nationalist murals are lovely and poetic and stuff. They're just as bad in some areas where they also have those.
We
guys
actually
with
have a
guns and
phrase
blah, blah,
here.
blah.
We have a word
Yeah.
that has been synonymous with doing that over here, which is whataboutery.
Whataboutery.
Whataboutery. So you know the way you'll say, what about?
Yeah, what about?
What about? What about? So regardless of what story happens, right? There could be, oh God, sometimes I used to make a sport of it just to laugh, you know?
Yeah.
Like how can somebody make a completely unrelated story about the Troubles, right?
Yeah.
So there would be, you know, actually, let me think of a genuine example. There was one that was about couple opens a cafe that welcomes like LGBTQ community safe space, right? I was like, that's lovely. You know, it's really nice. It's in Blackstaff actually. It's really cool. And I looked at the comments under it, and you get the usual dickheads who are very like, you know, bigoted, like anti-LGBTQ. But then you get people that are like, yeah, it's saying fucking Catholics get everything. What about this? What about, and you know, they were like, they managed to turn it into being, or it's like, aye, what about them fucking Protestant? Not just Catholic, not just Protestant people do it, Catholic people do it too. But they'll turn it in, or it'll be like, you know, a man, justice was given today when, you know, one of the perpetrators of the violence that started on behalf of the British soldiers on Bloody Sunday had to go on trial. And then you'll get, and people will be like, yeah, that should be good. They shot a load of people dead. I mean, can't see wrong with that. And then you'll get somebody, what about all them Irish people that like killed all the English people? Which, I mean, it's valid, but you go, oh, fuck, see if we just keep doing this for the rest of our lives, nobody's going to get anything done. So people say whataboutery, like stop it with the whataboutery.
I'll ask this question, like, outside of Ireland, like, there is a general consensus that colonialism was not good and the empire did not do well. Like, isn't that just generally accepted? Like, it is accepted in the South, but here...
In fact, to support your point, I was part of a project recently that was a study conducted by people in Queen's University, and it was all about colonialism and perceptions of it.
Is that the art sector one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many voices, many people, many voices. And essentially I was just there to conduct workshops and get people to talk about it, not prompt them in any way, wasn't leading the conversation, was just asking people for, there was a questionnaire, they had to fill it out, there was a lot of people that answered it on screen, and from all over the world, all different places, and the general consensus was that nobody thought colonization was a positive thing. Nobody thought the British Empire was necessarily moral. You know, there was a lot of negative responses, and it actually made me probe to try and find, did anybody have anything positive, you know, to say. We did get one absolute fucking maniac.
Okay, preface that.
And he was a compulsive liar. Now, when I say, I mean, guys, you know, whenever you're speaking to somebody, have you ever had this? And you just go, I'm going to call you Simba because you're the Land King, right? Stop lying. You know, these people.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah, Joe Exotic. You know, like, you know, these people that just can't help themselves to go, what's in there? And they'll go, Coke. And you can clearly see, they just can't. I love those people. Fucking love those people because it's just lying, but it's so interesting. This guy came in and he was like, he's about 22.
Yeah.
22 years of age. He had 7 kids, 7 daughters.
Okay, wow. Good for him.
Right? First I was like, Okay, I can see that.
Can I lean back and it still hears?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoke with an English accent.
Yeah.
Said he served in the American military. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Killed lots of people out at sea somewhere. I was like, right, so it was the Navy then.
Mm-hmm.
Still has all the guns that he was in the military with.
From the American military.
From the American military.
Here in Belfast.
Here. Has them
Okay.
all. Do you see where I'm going here?
Yeah.
So then he was one of the ones that, yeah, he thought colonialism was great. But I was like, but you also tell lies. So
When I
although he was great crack.
yeah. When I don't want to bore, I'll just say one thing about the first time I came here. When I grew up, my dad, he's a Marxist.
Oh really?
Yeah, and so we had books on James Connolly at home.
You had James Connolly books.
Yeah, the first
Get
two
out of
volumes.
town.
Yeah, so
Hey, look, ma, I made it. Sorry.
I don't get the reference though. Right?
Oh, it's a song. But I just thought wow, James Connolly is being looked at with regards to Marxism.
But James Connolly was a socialist.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was. There's James Connolly Centre on the Falls Road. That's all.
Oh, I didn't know
about
that. So,
yeah.
I'll check that out. So anyway, in Sri Lanka, there was a separatist movement of the Tamils,
Right.
from the Sinhalese. There's two types of people.
Okay.
Well, there's many, but let's say the two major. Anyway, so my parents fled a war where the separatists wanted a nation for their own language, for their own culture. Now, I don't want to get into that history because it's also very complicated. But the point
were
is,
your parents
they were
part of the separatist group?
So my family was a part of the separatist group in terms of supporting this idea of a free and independent nation. My father was a bit critical.
Good things.
All good things, and I understand. I'm very sympathetic to this question of because when anyone fights for their own nation, I don't think what it really means. I think at the core is I want a home where I can raise my children in peace. I can feed my children. I can house my children and clothe my children, that there's a hospital, there's a school. And oftentimes when people are fighting for that, there's a lack of. So anyways, my father was a bit critical of the way that was being done, so he supported the Marxist side. And so he took up a lot of James Connolly's writings, and because Connolly was fighting for a united Ireland, a socialist republic, where no capitalist or empire influence, and that's sort of the road that he took. So when I was here 6 years ago, I did the Connolly Easter Rising tour.
Aww.
I went to Kilmaingow, the jail.
Oh,
Where they
Kilmainham.
shot, Kilmainham, where they shot him. It was very sad.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what? Kilmainham is, regardless, it could be the sunniest day of the year. And it's a very, very cold place. I think the energy there is just, I'm getting all hokum.
Yeah.
But I just think,
That's
But
interesting.
they film a lot of movies there, don't they? Because the jail is really
they do. They filmed very famously that scene in. There's a scene in. Is it The Italian Job, the original one? And he's walking down those big steps.
Oh, right.
There's lots of movies that were filmed there because of that particular setup. Was some of In the Name of the Father filmed in Kilmainham?
I'm not sure.
But no, it was meant to be a British jail, but I think it might have just because of
Been
that
there.
setup.
But that's so interesting.
Yeah, and then I went to the GPO. I did loads of that stuff the first time.
Lots of
loved it.
there's a lot of irony about modern day Nazism using James Connolly as an idol, when a lot of modern day nationalist parties and movements are very right wing conservative.
No, I totally get that.
So if we were to have a united Ireland now, it wouldn't be a 32 county socialist republic.
No.
It would just be again this place where Apple and
Exactly.
Facebook have massive conglomerate tax haven things. So it wouldn't be a lot of this is being said in the name of people who fought for independence.
Yeah.
But it's not made in their
If
image.
they were to sit in a room with them today,
they would be
not get
disgusted.
along. No.
But the Tamil community, I don't want to be insensitive, but there was a very brutal massacre involved in the Tamil community.
In 2009.
Yeah.
So there was a long resistance war. There was a long civil war. So from the 80s, and in 2009, they got all their strength, the Sri Lankan state, and then they crushed down on the resistance movement.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it is a genocide.
Yeah.
So the Tamil Tigers led that national
Yes.
liberation movement,
Uh-huh.
and I can understand. Like I don't want to like get too detailed, but I understand national liberation. I just don't maybe agree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't. Also, I'm not a pacifist. Now I sound like really bad. I'm not a pacifist. Like I think when like history is very complicated. Like so, I was
I
talking.
don't mind fighting, but you're not doing it right.
Yeah, no, but it could be that.
Yeah.
Like there was someone I was talking to in Dublin, and they're like, oh, they shouldn't have been violent or something like that in 1916 onwards. I'm like, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like you had the things happen the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easier to say all these things now, but life, like history, is very complicated. Like I think Connolly shouldn't have died. I think Connolly's a genius. Like I read his works, and I really, he was a genius. He taught himself how to read. His father was poor. Like go to the library. He used to fix shoes just to try to keep like money going for the movement.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
staged and directed a play about James Connolly's life.
It's just
Actually
like-
rewrote it because it was quite just factual and it needed more dialogue.
yeah.
But really, really interesting character, like very intelligent, just intelligentsia. One of those people that you're going, maybe we should.
Loads
have
of
had
trauma
him.
too.
Loads
like-
of trauma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his daughter had died and everything. Like they suffered a lot, and up at Connolly's. I mean, you should go and do the James Connolly
Is it
museum.
here?
It's just on the Fulge Road.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna look that
There's
up.
like
James
a
Connolly's
mask of his face on the front of it. I think it's a death mask that was made.
Okay.
It's facing the pillars on
Yeah.
the Fulge Road. But yeah, it is. It's really interesting, and I just find like here is us talking about Apophenia.
Oh my god, we just went so off topic.
Yeah.
Exactly, and
It's a very political episode. I'm worried about.
it is.
Jesus Christ.
Welcome to
This is
Word
what
Up,
happens when you get a coloured girl. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
the Socialist Republic.
The socialist brown girl, and now she's here.
I love it. But you know the way the Apophenia, finding patterns in unrelated things. There you go. Like
Yeah.
if you were to say, I would have never in a million fucking years thought that a Sri Lankan man was reading James Connolly. Like that is just
But
like
James Connolly wrote about Ceylon. That's what Sri Lanka was called back then.
Right.
He wrote about India and Ceylon.
but that is my own ignorance to that extent. I mean, I know that it's because I know that like a lot of us like hero worship him and think a lot about his ideas, but I would have thought that there were lots of other prevalent sort of socialists that that people would read about other than that. But it's kind of nice, you know.
The blows to the empire, if you were to say it that way, the blows to the empire began with Ireland, began with like Russia, like with the Russian Revolution. And so like other people in the ex-colonial world, like India, Sri Lanka, China, we started seeing these things. And so the history rolls down that way.
Yeah.
And we take these big giants and we read them. So my father had these books and stuff. And I remember in Dublin, I tried to go find Connolly, wrote a paper about Sri Lanka, and I was so desperate to find that. I couldn't find it.
I wonder if there's anyone out there.
Yeah, I was on the internet and stuff like that trying to look for it. But
He wrote a paper. Who would have that? It might be like documented at Queen's or something like that. Or,
but you know, I'll say this one thing though, like so I'm back in Dublin now, and I think it's a bit rougher. I love Irish people, but I think it's probably just the pandemic and all this stuff. I could just sense it. And the stuff about like Apple and whatever that you're talking about. I walk around and I see like the images of Connolly and Patrick Pearse.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And they're just faded. Off in an alley somewhere. Nobody
man.
knows. It's
Yeah.
just like this is such fascinating history to this country.
Yeah.
And it's fading.
It is.
Slowly,
It's really
and
sad
yeah.
because in the south of Ireland, particularly as well, like the government is really fucking letting the people down big time, and everybody's
The
really
housing crisis I
jaded
hear is
and
very
angry.
yeah.
yeah.
It's,
You know,
it's not good.
See, on like because my dad would have told me a lot about James Connolly and stuff as well. I had one of those wee moments where like I went, well, like because I was doing a gig over in Edinburgh, and the place we were playing was called Sneaky Pete's.
right?
It's on the Cowgate, and see right next to it, there's like a wee plaque up on the wall,
Yeah.
and it's like James Connolly's Edinburgh, like where he resided in Edinburgh, used to stand here.
Oh,
Like, I was like, oh,
really?
there we go. And I was going like, fucking, you know, and there was all like wee like murals to him, like around that
Yeah.
area, and I was like, you know, I didn't think It was
Yeah.
like that big of a thing. That's another thing. But say just up from where that James Connolly Centre is, there's James Connolly's house.
Oh,
that he used to
wow.
live in, at the bottom of the White Rock.
oh yes,
Okay.
it is. It's there still, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think that I
I
thought
think
that
it's a
was the
dentist
centre.
now.
Yeah. It's
Is
a
it?
dentist.
It's a dentist.
I thought it was the centre. I thought 'cause
No,
it
that's
used
not
to
where
be.
it was. It's like, ever see where the butchers is?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like next to the butchers.
Ah. I
Should
know
we
what
try
you
to
mean.
relate your word to this topic, or I don't know? I feel
No,
like
we don't need to. We do not need to. You know what?
Oh,
But
we-
you do the tarot, so I find that. Do you find that tarot would require a bit of apophenia?
isn't that a best? Oh, I feel like I'm betraying tarot if I were to.
You would say that those things aren't unrelated, that they're all
Okay, because the
related
term
together?
means I'm trying to look for patterns where they don't exist.
Mm-hmm. But that no, but now, when I first heard
Uh-huh.
this word,
Yeah.
right, or I first read this word,
Yeah.
it was actually in a novel about a detective,
Uh-huh.
and he is extremely good at his job
Mhm.
because of apophenia.
Okay.
And when I looked this up, so I was like, so his argument was that he was good at his job because he can see patterns where none exist. But therefore, is that not a bit of a conundrum? Because how can there be a pattern
Yeah.
at all?
Because there's a difference between seeing a pattern that other people can't pick up on.
Yes, or
I see.
seeing a pattern
Yeah.
where that isn't a recognizable pattern, to other people, or seeing a pattern where there shouldn't be one or there isn't one, but actually being able to relate things and piece them together and
Okay,
go,
here's what I'll say about tarot. I do believe in tarot. I think the cards don't lie. I'm a tarot reading socialist. It's true. I don't think the cards lie. What ends up happening?
definitely a niche in the market for that. Like, definitely.
What happens is I've had these readings where it's more common than not where people are being they're not being honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cards are almost chaotic and I can't pick up on a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And then it feels like then I'll just say I'm not sure what I'm reading here. And then if I
Mhm.
try, it'll be dishonest because they're just not being honest. So here's an example. There was a girl the other day. I do private readings, and she wasn't really being honest. She just wanted to know. Her question was, is there any way I could be more happier than I am?
Right.
Okay, I said that's an interesting question.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess you
Don't
can-
even need to pull your
Yeah.
cards, babe. Yes.
Yes, yeah.
On you go. Nobody's ever fully happy. If you are, you're fucking you're
Exactly.
on something.
So it was weird. So then I pulled some cards. She wasn't really budging, and I said, I think you should try to open up a little bit more. Anyways, long story short, her mother's being beat up by her father. They need to be separated. She wants to know about her mother's happiness. She's not getting pregnant. She has all this stress.
Mhm.
And then I start seeing the cards make much more sense, and then I can put. So
Yeah.
you got to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's an example.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
is completely apophenic if you don't have any context whatsoever.
Exactly.
Do you want to know something now? I wouldn't say that I am into tarot or anything. But I had a set of cards before because I found them. They didn't really belong to anyone. They were in like a set and they were like left in a cupboard in a bedroom attic.
Oh my god, I would never touch
A
them.
bedroom attic?
I
What's
would
that?
never touch them.
So
in a
whenever
million
somebody
years.
converts their attic into a bedroom,
Okay.
so it's an attic room. And it was
It's like one of those things where it's like on the ceiling, you pull the thing, the ladder comes down, you go
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah, but this
Oh,
was
that's
done
freaky.
properly where it actually had stairs. It didn't have,
Okay.
it just had
And
steps.
bedroom, and you're like, no way.
No,
So
I wouldn't touch the tarot cards.
I was clearing out and I found them and they weren't even, they were in this little thing and it had a wee book with them
Yeah.
and there was a wee bag and it said, sleep with them under your pillow. Blah, blah, blah.
Really?
Yeah, in their
Yeah.
thing, if you're going to pull your own card. So I thought it would be a bit of crack.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Have you never watched?
This is Irish superstition. He's like, don't.
He's like,
Have you ever watched like any spooky film ever? Like anything left behind in a house?
I
Like,
thought it was a gift somebody had got and just didn't use it. And I was like,
That's funny.
cool, right? So I actually don't know where they went. But I thought it'd be good crack. Sean sitting over here like, get her out of here. She's fucking cursed. But the funny thing about it was that so I read the wee book and what have you, and I pulled a wee simple pattern,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I looked it up and I sat and read about what each card meant. And I couldn't even really tell you exactly. Can't remember. But I remember looking at it going, I don't like them. Right?
Okay.
You know, like, maybe a bit too honest, right? Because what I actually remember what I was going through a bit of shit at the time as well. And I remember being, I don't like them cards. No, I don't like that. It's a load of bollocks anyway. So I put them back in and I shuffled them all up.
Yeah.
I mean, shuffled. And I was like, you know, whenever you read your horoscope and you go, it's not true because it's shit. So you go and look for one that like tells you something nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I shuffled all these cards up and I was like, yeah, let's do it again and get some good news. And I done the way, and then like, you know, like a cross sort of shape, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Call me the Catholic, whatever. And I looked and I was like, And a lot of the cards were the same.
Oh, wow.
That I had shuffled, and I went, fuck off. Is loads of these cards doubles? Right? So I'm looking.
I believe that. I believe you can't lie.
No, there's no doubles. How did I pull the same cards again? Now, I didn't do it a third time. I'm not going to bullshit you. Some of them weren't the same.
Yeah.
But see, whenever I looked them up, they had the same fucking meaning. Even though they were like a different card. It was like, I was like, nah, I don't fucking like this game. And I think that's why, me being me, I like picked them away. I was like, fuck that. But it's booked me.
I believe that. So I do this tarot and comedy show. I'm not plugging in. I'm just telling you. It was just one interesting thing.
No, do. Feel free to plug.
I pull people up and I'll do live tarot. And one component is couples tarot. Because I do this love portion of it. So if there's a couple in the audience, the man and woman comes up. And then we'll do a tarot reading to see where the relationship goes. And I'll be honest with you, like there's some times where the card's not pulled.
You're not making it to the end of the night.
And I don't know. Like I try to be entertaining and funny, but also it's like I'm not sure what to say here.
Ah, man.
So this has happened to me, and I can't lie. Like I'm not pulling another card.
That's fucking brilliant.
So they get nervous too. They're always like, oh, we don't know what she's gonna say, and I'm like, the truth. Come on up, let's go.
Oh my god, I love this.
I did this in Dublin and it was fun. I've done it in a few places, and I'll take it to Fringe in 2025, but it's pure improv because I can never pull the same cards. Yeah. So, you know.
All day long.
And then at the end of the show, I get someone to read tarot for me because I show people how to do it. And then it's always some person who doesn't know how to do it. And then, you know, they've pulled the death card on me, the devil card. And I'm like, well, the devil makes sense. But the death card is just like.
But does the death card not mean like it could be the death of something?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a death.
No.
But it could be like the death of a relationship, the death of a bad habit.
Yeah.
You could look at it
or
in
one
like
chapter ends and a new one begins.
And a new one's beginning. Yeah. You know, that sort of thing. Like, I find that fucking really intriguing.
Yeah.
You know?
And I that thing you did, I don't think the cards lied to you. You don't want to hear the truth because I get clients like that. They're like, I don't want to hear it. And I'm like, well, I don't know what
then why are you here?
Why are you here? I can't.
What the fuck? Do you want me to tell you? Here, hold on. Here's some fairy dust. Promise St. Anthony the price of a loaf, right? And you'll find yourself.
I was reading a book that the Catholic Church in Ireland, like in the medieval period, was very much into magic. They're just hiding it in different ways. So, like, you know, these fairy things, and it was very ingrained in the church. Like,
oh my God, there's a wee woman. Jesus. It's so good. She is, you call him actually, it sounds like Luke McGibbon's name, but it's not. If you go on my Insta, you'll probably see it's this guy, and he basically just records his mass, his wee Irish ma.
Aww.
And she's all her holy waters. Did you see this?
No.
Is it in a plastic Mary? My mom used to.
My granny had that.
Yeah, my mom had those things.
Everybody, do you even have holy water if it's not in a fucking plastic mirror with a wee blue cap? Yeah, I used to joke at my granny and go, Granny, you going to put your vodka in that to sneak in? And she'd go, don't you dare, God forgive you. But this wee woman had all her holy waters. Some was in this, right? Some was in regular bottles. Some was in, you know, those wee demisters? Do you know those little plug-ins that you plug in and it sprays like air freshener over the hall whenever somebody walks by it?
Wow.
So she had put holy water. She was like talking him through all this, and she was like, "Yeah, just I don't want the blessing to dry out on it." Right? Hilarious, adorable. Protect this woman at all costs. She's got the big man protecting her. So she was like, "I don't want the blessing to dry out," and was like, "Well, what about this? Why have you got this?" And she went, so that like anybody walks in the hall, it sprays the holy water out and it'll just give them a blessing. And I just thought, that's fucking adorable. This woman is putting it into like plug-in fucking sprays and having like holy water scented house.
Everybody has like this, like I like this, like people have cultural things, like this is religious cultural, like I talk about this in my show, but in our culture, because it's a blessing, right, to protect you.
Yeah.
In my culture, we do this thing where we take dried chilies and onions and peppercorn and you kind of crush it in your hand and then you kind of go hold it over your head like this, and it's to ward off the evil spirit.
I have seen this done. I watched a documentary where they did it. Her son was going away to like climb a mountain or something, and he was going to do some task, and she did that and to ward off. And I thought, I get it.
When I was young, I thought my mom was just seasoning me. I was like,
oh yeah, you were like,
it's time for children curry.
I thought you told me to be less salty, mama. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know we do a wee segment actually called Swear Down? Yeah. Where I basically, it's a phrase this week.
Swear down.
So essentially I wanted to incorporate like an insult or a word that would be a good word to use in an argument against somebody.
Okay. That isn't a swear word.
That isn't an actual swear word. What is your favourite swear word, by the way?
My favourite swear word?
Yeah. Do you curse a lot? No. You don't seem like a swear.
I don't really, but I do say like Jesus Christ, like in a very like, you know, when something happens, like something silly, I don't go overboard. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, just like.
Disgusted. I can't believe you do that. I'm
sorry.
What are you joking? Yeah.
I was like, I know I shouldn't. My grandma used to have a thing about that. Like, don't say these types of
My
words.
dad's like that. He tells me off. I don't say it anymore. In fact, it actually, because my dad has it like sort of poked into me. That sounds wrong. My dad didn't poke anything into me, right? Not even the Lord. But I know priests were passing that one off as a treaty. But I do. I kind of go like, I have a potty mouth, so I will swear. I'll say all the bad words of the day. But then,
what is your favorite?
Do you know, this is going to sound like a lot of people say the C word. A lot of people say, but I actually love fuck.
Yeah, I was thinking of me too. Yeah,
fuck is a really frickus, like it just works. It works for everything.
Yeah,
you know, you're angry. Fuck's sake, something's cool. Fuck, you know, like
your choice doesn't have to be something obscure. You know, when something is the best, it's just the best.
It's just the best. You know, you can use it for everything. Like fuck me, fuck you. Fuck this, you know, like
I do like that. I usually say that. I don't say shit or ass that much. Cunt, not really. I mean,
see, do you have that thing? Americans, we were saying, and like Canadians, starting to use it a little bit more.
Cunt,
a little bit more in the TV, on the TV. There's been a few instances recently where I've went, ha! It's just funny when Americans say it, or anybody with like an Americanish accent, Canadian accent, because I think that the accent doesn't lend itself to really swearing. No, like, you know, whenever like people with that sort of American Canadian accent say wanker, and it doesn't lend itself. Makes me cringe. Like, I know. Don't be such a wanker. And, no, stop it.
And I've tried to do that. I tried to introduce it into my vocab, and I'm like, oh, I feel like a dickhead.
Go say it. Dickhead as well. So cute.
And it's like, oh, stop being a wanker. It's just like so stupid. Stop
being a wanker.
There's a comedian, Maria. This is her line. I just found it really funny. I don't know her last name, but I was gigging with her in Dublin, and she had this joke where she's like, she said crack. She's from LA. So she's with her Irish friend. She's like, oh, what's the crack?
Yeah.
And then the Irish friends were like, please don't do that. Like, don't do, because it's like,
that's not for you.
It's not for you. And she said, it feels like you're wearing my mother's jewelry. And it's just like,
stop it!
It's like a really
appropriation.
It's a really good line. I try to forget.
Oh my God, it feels like you're wearing my mother's jewelry.
It's true, because like with our accents, like, okay, so what's the crack, everyone? Like, it's so stupid. Yeah. But my partner, he's like, oh, I don't know. He's like, what's the crack there? And I'm like, okay, well, it just goes. It just goes.
Just kind of, I suppose our accent is quite harsh.
And your accent is funny. Like, I find Irish comedians really funny. I like I think you guys have a real high standard of joke telling, storytelling. I've learned a lot just being in Dublin, and you know,
I think there's like more of that because of that oral culture as well, you know, and you know, passing stories down and passing jokes down, sitting around going, anyone know any jokes? Do you know what I mean? Like, just there is that sort of tradition. What are you going to do, Sean? You've got your wee phone out. I can see.
Oh, I've got something for afterwards, but we'll do our swear down first.
We'll do our swear down.
So the swear down again is
Yes.
favorite swear word?
It's
a word or a phrase
an
that is
insult
an insult.
that
Okay.
isn't
Okay.
a swear word.
So you're saving something for our Patreon.
Aye.
We have changed the Patreon recently. The Patreon is up and running for all of you who are already members. Thank you so much. And if you will consider subscribing to keep the lights on, please do. So this is our swear down. Okay.
Moral.
So it's moral turpitude.
What's that mean?
Right.
I'm so dumb.
No, you're not. You're not. You're not
The
dumb.
point is not to know the word. It's
the point usually is not to know the
Okay,
word.
moral turpitude. I don't know what it is.
RB David knows fucking everything, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So moral turpitude is actually a legal term,
Mhm.
right? And it is used to describe just behavior that is seen as immoral.
Immoral. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So usually, like for example, in America, if you are, you know the way obviously your not your institution, sorry, the institution's codified and they have like rules, regulations. They even have like codified their legislation. So they'll be like, yeah, that's 15 to 20 years for that. But there's like a thing that can be sort of tacked on to do with like moral turpitude, you know, and crimes of moral turpitude tend to be, you know, like even over here, crimes of moral turpitude, although we don't feel like they go punished, for example, there are certain crimes where even the criminals will beat you up. Do you know what I mean? Because they're like, yeah, we rob banks, but we don't do that. You're fucking like child killers. You know, they get beat up in prison.
Is pedophilia count?
Hopefully.
Or is that a separate thing?
Pedophilia is absolutely moral turpitude.
Moral
So
turpitude.
it's like if you committed a certain crime, but it's, you know, additionally like more heinous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we know that like stealing, if there's a direct victim, is more of a crime of moral turpitude than perhaps white collar crime. You know, like, or, you know, maybe fucking liberating a few pairs of shoes out of TK Maxx. You know,
Like I said, liberating.
you know, just setting them free.
Yeah.
But, you know, the crimes of moral turpitude. So I like to think even that if you use that against someone, you would just go, I'll have nothing to do with you and your life of moral turpitude.
Oh, wow.
You know, when you cut somebody to the
Ooh.
bone, wouldn't you?
Mhm.
Like, do you guys say that?
Moral
You know,
turpitude.
cut someone to the bone?
Yeah, I've heard that phrase. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because I love the phrase, also, couldn't cut him with a knife.
I haven't heard that one.
Means you couldn't cut him with a knife, meaning like he's thick skinned, like he doesn't get embarrassed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I would say that, like, oh, you couldn't cut me with a knife, like, you know, because my skin is so thick, you couldn't cut it. Like,
That's a good way to be, also.
yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
So, but people with moral turpitude, you would like to cut them with a knife. But then, are there some forms of moral turpitude that you think that has to be adjusted? Because you go, do you know what? Used to be dead bad to do that. Look at divorce.
Divorce? Oh, yeah, okay. Very
That would
common.
have been seen as like
That's very common.
morally.
What's the divorce rate,
Turpituous.
by the way, in Ireland?
And
Just a separate question.
I think what is you look it up, man, because do you know that was one of the things, the very first things that actually, Protestantism and like the unionist and nationalist politicians ended up getting done
was divorce.
was divorce.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it was really late. It was like actually in
Was it the 70s?
1972 or something like that. Or
Okay.
1970. It was later on, like made it legal.
Um,
It was illegal.
But it was in, like in Canada, you know how Quebec is a Catholic province? It was also in the 70s as well that they legalized divorce. Quebec
There-
was very far behind.
Really?
Mhm.
Do you speak any
There's-
French?
No.
Being a Canadian,
But I was
no?
born in Quebec. I don't.
Were you?
Yeah, don't speak French. though.
Oh, that's good.
Um,
Wait,
the-
you speak
the-
Swedish? That's cool.
there's a few different reports, but it ranges from between 0.6 and 0.9 divorces per 1,000 people
Whoa.
in Ireland,
Yeah.
which is very low. It's the second lowest in the EU.
Really?
Rate.
Ireland has the second lowest divorce rate in the EU.
Yeah, the EU average is
What is it? In
1.7.
Italy? Is Italy the lowest?
But what's the actual
Sure.
overall percentage if we were to do that percentage-wise?
Oh, so
Yeah, give me that in metric.
Let me get the calculator
Yeah.
out. So
0.8 out of 1,000. What does that mean? If every 1,000 people, like 999 of them,
0.9 divided by
or does that mean like 0.8? Like
it's 1%. It's like less than one, or sorry, no, it's 9/100ths of a percent.
wow. So essentially, out of every 1,000 people, couples that get married,
Yeah.
one couple with dwarfism will get divorced.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it works. Oh my God, that's amazing.
or not necessarily dwarfism, maybe just like people that
Dwarfism
are
and divorcism.
no, there
I'm
may
just
be
trying to
like
see.
5'7" on average height.
Yeah, just average height. Yeah.
They're just below
My
average.
height, technically, I could sort of be.
That's so funny because I'm also trying to
look.
look up the percentage, and it's giving me that same decimal number.
What the fuck? That is so,
So-
random.
But it
would
Where is
be-
the number one? Like the lowest? Sorry, where is the lowest? Is it Italy? Is it Italy?
Let's see.
Is there a direct link? We're trying to find out.
The hardest is in the Vatican.
This
obviously.
isn't Apophenia here. This is trying to find an actual link.
But you're right. The rest of Europe. Okay, the reason why I even brought that up is like in Sweden, 60%.
get out of
60% of the population. But divorce is so common. Like
What?
every other person I know is divorced.
Really?
So I have some divorce jokes that I do in my stand up, and I've noticed here it's like it's almost that. Well, that's a shame.
Ah, get away. Are you serious?
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
poor girl. And
there's
I'm like,
judgment
I
there.
know, but it's fine. It's supposed to be
That's
funny.
brilliant. That is.
It's like
no.
so because I noticed I'm like, I think people are just.
So you've been
still-
divorced twice.
Mhm.
Do you mind talking about that? No.
No, it's fine. Like I was married in my early 20s.
Oh.
So we were excited and in love, and then I
Yeah.
got married. But that didn't. That was clearly like I went back to university, and I was like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, you fucking got a clue and went.
We're too young.
I immediately regret this decision.
Yeah.
Was this in Sweden?
No, this is in Canada.
All right, okay.
And then the second one, I met him in Italy. He's Swedish, and then we married and we went to Sweden, and we're friends now. Me and my second one, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So it just didn't work out.
So you would say that like Swedish marriages are a wee bit like their cheese. They're full of holes. It's terrible.
That's Swiss cheese, you silly monkey.
Oh, Swiss! Hold on. Switzerland.
Switzerland. But I think like one thing that
Now I'm thinking about
was
cheese.
interesting about Sweden is like talking about divorce with the people that I were friends with.
I love the way you called me a silly monkey. That's adorable.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
No, I love that. Thank you.
You said like Swiss
So
cheese.
cute.
That was a cute comment. But it's common. You know, I think the reason why it's common because the standard of living is quite high. There's loads of women that also have kids on their own,
Uh-huh.
and they're just very open about it. Like,
Yeah, and they have fuck you money because they're like, you know what, I'm not happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say fuck you money, but more like well, I don't know how it is in Belfast, but like maternity is very good and daycare's free.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
so that's a
Sweden
really-
is like the pinnacle
Yeah,
model, isn't
And,
it?
and in Canada we don't even have free daycare. And that's a very big thing because that costs really
Wow.
And so I worked in the daycares because I was a teacher and then I worked in the daycares a bit in Sweden.
Wow.
And they're the daycares are sort of when I say daycare, I don't know let's say daycare. They're set up to help with the parents' shifts at work. So if you have a very early morning shift, your shift is at like 5 a.m. The daycare's already set up for you to sit your child there.
Wow.
And then, you know, you come and you get them. And if you have a late evening shift or you're a night worker, like I was a night worker as well.
That's
Like,
amazing.
so
You
it's
work
very-
the work nights?
Girl, I worked all kinds of jobs. but, like,
WT, fuck. Hold on a minute. You just need to get your acts together, like, seriously, and sort us out with that childcare. With that.
no, but that's
with
a
that.
very big thing. And I think that's why people feel a bit supported. I'm not saying Sweden's perfect. It definitely has its
But there are a lot of women and a lot of men who feel I can't go anywhere.
When you have kids.
Yeah. Or how you going to cope? Or, you know, it's a financial arrangement, that sort of thing, where it's like, well, I can't really do anything about it now.
Because you mean with lack of childcare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I wonder, is there a Catholic guilt in there as well? You know, the truth.
Could be.
If you want to
culturally.
ruminate on this subject, please join us on the Patreon and have a discussion with us because we're going to do a dirty word.
Okay, let's do a dirty word.
Speaking about, we're going to do it on the Patreon. Sean's
Okay.
going to come in. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us.
This has been fun.
Absolutely, please follow Sinthuja on her Insta,
Oh,
Sinthuja VK.
Yeah, Sinthuja K.
Okay.
You can, I don't know how you'll plug it in, but, you know, and I do tarot readings, and you can follow my comedy. And,
Tarot readings. You can get a tarot read. Do you do that TikTok thing? Lots of people do that. You should do it.
I should, but I'm just, sometimes I feel like I'm too old for TikTok.
Fuck off. Tell your granny to ask about it.